welcome to Mara's Junk Drawer. I am Mara, and today we are doing week 3. Yes, week 3 of our Black Menvember. Please bear with me because my ears are clogged. I am congested because I am sick. Okay? Sick. So this video may be a little choppy because I'm sure I'm going to have a cough attack from talking so much. I didn't bring no water over here. I didn't bring no tea, nothing. And my hair doesn't want to cooperate. I did pull the back up and put it into 2 ponytails. Like, what do you think? Oh, man. Okay. I'm trying to find the energy. Where should we start? So, before we get started, I will say, I'm sure this was nobody but God. But I was being nosy in celebrities' business, and I went to go Google something, and the video that I clicked on, I thought it was directing me to a YouTube short, but I hope I'm talking loud enough for y'all, because my ears are plugged. Okay, so I thought the video was directing me to a YouTube short, but it ended up directing me to TikTok, and I never opened my TikTok. So come to find out, when I opened my TikTok, I seen, like, you know how if somebody like tags you in a video on TikTok and then other people comment on that set video, then it'll send you a notification. So I seen like all these people. You may hear my stomach growling too because it's 8:27 a.m. and I have not ate yet. And so I seen all these notifications of people commenting on a video that I was tagged in. So I went to the video and it happened to be India, one of our fellow book babes. She mainly posts all her book content on TikTok. So she does have Instagram, but majority of her book content is on TikTok. So I seen that she tagged me in a video of her just pretty much thanking us for being a beacon of light for her in this dark time period in her life. Thanking us for giving her like comfort during this challenging time in her life, which is crazy, you know, but also a blessing that she's still trying to remain positive in this challenging time in her life. So on the post, she was just saying, well, the reason why she tagged me was saying thank you for your YouTube videos, your coming YouTube videos, which, girl, thank you. But she also was saying that the challenging time that she's going through is her mother has congestive heart failure. Well, she didn't say congestive heart failure. Her mother has heart failure, which she now has to be a caregiver for her mother. Her mother had to move in with her. India also does have children, and her landlord ended up kicking her out of her home due to her mother living with her. So she's currently homeless, I believe she said. So I'm going to drop all her links down below, like her Instagram and her TikTok. And because I think on the post she mentioned that she said buy a bracelet or something like that. I can't remember. I don't have TikTok on my iPad to pull it up, and my phone is all the way over there, and I don't know if I feel like getting up and getting it. But I'm gonna post all of her links. So I'm saying all this to say, for all the prayer warriors out there, please pray for India. We might not be able to help others financially, but we can help them through prayer, because the power of our tongue, yeah, what we proclaim over our life, what we speak, has power. Okay, so I'm just asking for all the prayer warriors out there, if you're watching this video, to please pray for India and her family. You know that she is blessed with what she needs to be able to provide for her family, her children, her mother. Let's pray for her mother's health through her heart failure journey, because I worked in cardiology for 8 years, and I also have a family member in heart failure, so very hard to deal with. So let's pray for India. Okay, let's get into the books. I'm struggling. I've only read 2 books this week because this week was just a very tiring week. I was just so tired because PMS and clearly I have a cold. The worst combination ever. So yeah, I was only able to finish 2 books. I did start like 4 books, but I haven't been able to finish a book just due to my current state. So the 2 books that I read are The Color of Water by James McBride, and I read Ring Shout by P. Dejele Clark. The first one we're going to talk about is The Color of Water by James McBride. Beautiful. I have not read any of James McBride's books. I do have The Heaven and Earth grocery store. So thank you, Gaia. I believe Gaia purchased this for me from my book list, my book wish list. Yeah, so this is the book that I have from him. Let's just set that right there. So before I like jump into an author's catalog, if they have a memoir, I like to read their memoir first before jumping into their books, because I feel like it gives me like a foundation, or like I'm able to feel the depth of their story, like where their depth comes from. Like Jessamine Ward, like if you read her memoir and then go read her books, then you'll understand why there's such a her books are so deeply spiritual. But anyway, so back to The Color of Water. So The Color of Water is a memoir of James McBride and his mother, Ruth McBride Jordan. Baby, I was in for a treat with this one. The fact that it's his mother and him telling the memoir together is crazy. Like, I've never read a memoir, like 2 memoirs in one. So James McBride's mother, like her part of it, and then on the audiobook, I'm so mad he does not narrate. It would have been fire for him and his mother to narrate this together. But so his mother's part of the book, you know, like the writing is different, but I mean, once you're reading it, you know it's her voice anyway. But his mother is a Jewish woman that came to America with her family, and that they were in Virginia. And very interesting dynamic. A Jewish mother raising 12 black children. Like, wow. Like, it was just very interesting to hear her perspective of the Jewish community as well as the black community, because she was deeply rooted in the black community. Like, she was basically a black woman in a Jewish body. And the Jewish community shunned her, duh, for having married black men and having black children. It was interesting to hear her perspective of being a Jewish woman, pretty much living in black communities as well as Jewish communities, and just the disconnect there, because her father was, you know what irritates me? People who, oh, her father was a rabbi and he had his own, I think he did have his own synagogue, or he taught at the synagogue. And what irritates me is that a lot of people just steer away from religion, and as well as trying to build their relationship with God because of people like her father. Her father was a nasty man. He was racist and abused his children sexually. Like, her father sexually abused her, but yet through all types of, like, you know, religious commentary, like what to do, what not to do. Like, how dare, like, how, yeah, that part of the story irritated me. And then you got that audacity to marry a disabled woman as a business contract. Like, you didn't marry her for love reasons, you married her for business purposes. And then to turn around, leave her and marry some trashy woman, like, whose husband was in jail. Like, be for real, okay? And then I was so upset because, like, when she needed help with her 12 children, like, her family pretty much disowned her, but, like, just complete dysfunction. Like, complete dysfunction. And I felt so bad, but her testimony, she has such a beautiful testimony because a shout out to Mr. McBride, okay? Man of God came and got his woman, and she was renewed in Christianity, okay? Renewed in the blood of Christ, okay? That woman became a Christian woman, a God-fearing Christian woman, okay? Because of Mr. McBride, not this McBride, but James McBride's father. So, and they even had their own church. Baby, he got his woman, and she has such a beautiful testimony. You guys have to read it, but yeah, I don't want to say too much because it's going to give it away. But James, he was an interesting fella too. He's very interesting, which I can see why going forward and reading his books, because he's just a very deeply, like, he thinks deep. You know, he's one of those people that, you know, stay within himself, especially when he was younger, and question everything. So I can tell that his books are about to be deep, and they're about to give me everything that I need. Everything. So I can't wait to read more of his books. I don't want to say too much more because I just want you guys to experience his greatness for yourself, because I literally wanted to annotate each page, but I stopped of wanting to annotate because it was hindering my reading experience. You know, like, I just wanted to, like, experience the story without keeping like stopping and then highlighting it or underlining it, tabbing. Like, okay, I need to experience the story without any hindrance. So let me just read the book, and then I'm going to go back, read it again, and then, like, you know, annotate the parts. This will make this would be great for a conversation piece in, like, a book club, or if you have a podcast, but very heavy topics, because not me saying heavy because I was reading James by Percival Everett, and, you know, like, the V's are turned into B's. Child. Anyways, not, yeah. So, but even though it's, like, heavy commentary between, like, the Black community and Jewish community, I know most people, like, tread lightly on that topic. So, yeah. But The Color of Water, a Black man's tribute to his white mother, James McBride. Phenomenal. I wonder why he didn't put his mother's name on here too. But yeah, phenomenal memoir. Like, I think this is going in top 5 of my favorite memoirs. Okay, next we have Ring Shout by P. Dejale Clark. Why did this man eat with this book so bad? He ate so bad. And he has a pretty nice catalog too. This book is only 181 pages, and he put so many layers into this book. Like, how? After reading this, there's no reason why your Black historical fiction should be pushing more than 300 pages. When I tell you he put so many layers into this and it did not feel rushed, like, he gave you so many history lessons in 181 pages. Like, what? Baby, like, why did it take me so long to read this book? Why hasn't anybody recommended this book to me? Like, I didn't want to mess up my copy. So I downloaded it on my Kindle so that I could annotate certain parts. But first of all, the cover is very significant. If you haven't read this book, the cover, like, pay attention to the cover, because of course this is a KKK, and then, like, the eyes that are teeth are very significant. And then Ring Shout, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but Ring Shout, like the Gullah Ring Shout, pretty much, like, I wonder if, like, the praise, like, receiving the Holy Ghost in church is, like, inspired from, or is stemmed from, you know, ring shouting back in the day. Like, if you know, you know. But Ring Shout, like, what? Okay, so let me go to my book because I didn't want to ruin my copy by annotating in the book. So pretty much the book is about, how do you say her name? Marcy? I think her name is Marcy. Her name is spelled MarYse. So we follow Marcy, Chef, or her name is also Cordy. And then what was the other one's name? Is it Sadie? So yeah, we're following Marcy, Sadie, and Cordy, which they also call her Chef because she knows how to whip up bombs. But Marcy is the main character, and they all have their own unique weapon. Marcy has this weapon that's pretty much, it's like a sword type thing, and like the tip of it, but the sword, like the power comes from the ancestors. And then Cordy, or Chef, she knows how to whip up bombs. And then Sadie has like this, I think it's a rifle. So they all have like their own little powerful weapons. And the beginning of the book, whoa baby, the way I was like taken aback. So the beginning of the book, they are on top of, this is like the first two chapters. They are on top of a roof, and they had killed a dog and chopped it up and put it on the ground because they were hunting KKKs. And I'm like, no way the KKKs, to way to hunt a KKK. A KKK is to buy a dead corpse, like a dog corpse. Like they eat dead dogs. So yeah, come to find out, that is how they hunt the KKKs, with a dead dog corpse. Like they smell the flesh of it, and then they come and they just like look like dogs themselves coming over to eat the dead animal. I said, what am I reading? How do I find my own highlights? Oh, okay, y'all. It's gonna be so choppy because I keep coughing. So, and the book is also like they're preparing for this big moment on that's going to take place on Stone Mountain for the film of Birth of a Nation. If you ain't seen that before, then you already know, or if you've seen it before, you already know. If you haven't seen it before, then you might be a little clueless when reading this as to like the depths that are discussed in this book. It might not hit you as much as it's going to hit somebody who is familiar with all of the layers currently in the book. So there's this big night that's going to happen with the KKKs. They're planning to have a screening for Birth of a Nation on Stone Mountain. And so this book is giving, it's fantasy as well as black historical fiction. And then I was wondering, like, is it sci-fi too? Because there is a girl in here who is like, she has like her own little science like setup to dissect certain things, but I don't want to tell you because then it's going to like, I want you to be like, have that element of surprise for yourself. But I am going to share, I can't say too much more about the book because then it's going to give it away. But I just want to share some of the things that I highlighted. So one thing I highlighted is, you see the second clan was birthed on November 25th back in 1915, what we call D-Day or Devil's Night, when William Joseph Simmons, a regular old witch, and 15 others met up on Stone Mountain, east of Atlanta. Stories say they read from a conjuring book inked in blood on human skin. Can't vouch for that, but it was them that caught up the monsters we call Ku Kluxes, and it all started with this damned movie. Birth of a Nation comes from a book, two books really, The Klansman and The Leopard Spots by a man named Thomas Dixon. Baby, the information he was dropping in this book, why can I not pull up my highlights? Come on. Alright, another highlight. White folk earn something from that hate. Might not be wages, but knowing we on the bottom and they set us above, just as good, maybe better. Okay, so this is Emma, who is, I think she is Jewish, but she said, my people make money and we are greedy capitalists. We call for an equitable society and we are dirty Bolsheviks. those who wish to hate Jews will always find justification. They hung poor Mr. Frank here in Georgia after all, despite reason or law. Chef grunts. Reason and law don't mean much when white folks want their way. So this is just like a vibe of like what goes on in the book. And then that movie, What You Call a Spell, I believe works induce. Okay, so they're talking about Birth of a Nation. That movie, What You Call a Spell, I believe works to induce hate on a mass scale, Molly says, like how lynching roused individuals into a mob. Okay, and then another one is you likely didn't mean to, baby. They find ways in through some trouble you might keep deep down inside, like leaving a door open. There's something you can think of like that. So she's saying like because there's an aspect of the story like you'll see pretty much this hate that they're talking about is like deeply rooted, or pretty much the devil comes to you because if you have like some trouble that's troubling you, like pretty much if you have not accepted the truth and you're still like being weary, you're still stressing yourself out so much, and you just not have released or forgiven or come to terms with, or you know, accepted the truth, you have like resentment and all of these things that are not feelings of love, like deeply rooted, then you would just open the door for pretty much the devil to come in and test you in those ways. So those are some of the things that I highlighted in this book. He also talks about the, you know, that old folklore of Brer Rabbit and Tar Baby, you know, like that is like layered with the story of Maricy's journey. So some things, like if you have not like read Birth of a Nation, or that the folklore of Brer Rabbit, Tar Baby, ring shout, like what ring shouting is, Gullah people, then it might not hit you the same, but I feel like you will enjoy the story the same because of the fantasy aspect of it. Phenomenal. Chef's kiss. He did such a great job, and I'm so happy to have this on my bookshelf. He does have another story, another book. He, of course, he has like a big catalog, but he currently has a book on Kindle Unlimited that is centered around the Orishas. So I want to go read that because he did a phenomenal job with this book. And it's only 181 pages. Like, you have to read this book. If you like Black historical fiction, you have to read this book. Like, the fantasy part of it is not even, like, if you like shy away from fantasy, don't shy away from this one, because it's not giving fantasy the way that you're thinking. It's fantasy because there's like a weird twist with the KKKs. So those are the two books that I read for this week. That was all I was able to read because of my current state. As you can see, as you can hear, maybe not see, but definitely hear, my camera is about to cut off. So if you made it this far into the video, I do thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and lock in with your girl, because it's nice and chill over here. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, and leave me some love down in the comments. Let me know if you read any of these books